everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to bind off a knitted project. In my example, I just have this little swatch of stockinette stitch fabric, and I have the right side facing me, or the side with all the little V stitches that indicate knitting. So I'm going to bind off knitwise, and that means I'm going to bind off the stitches as if to knit them, or from going front to back. So what I'm going to do is knit my first stitch and knit my second stitch. But now I'm going to use my working yarn needle to slip my first stitch over my second stitch and off the needle. Now I only have one stitch over here. So I'm going to knit a second one, and again use my working yarn needle to slip the first stitch over the second one. And I'm going to repeat this all the way across the row, never having more than 2 stitches on my second needle, always slipping the first over the second before making another stitch. Alright, now I've come to the end of the row, and as you can see I have a nice neat edge, and if I look at it straight on it looks like a row of knit stitches, and from the front of my fabric it just makes a nice border. What I could do now is clip the end of this yarn and pull it through this final loop, and that would basically tie off my piece, and I could weave in the clipped end. I'm not going to do that because I need this for more videos, but that's how you want to bind off in a knitwise fashion. Now you can also bind off in a purlwise fashion. Let's say the last row of my project in this stockinette stitch example was a purl row, and so I'm looking at the wrong side of the fabric. I'd like to bind off in a way that matches the rest of the stitches on this side. So instead of knitting 2 stitches to begin with, I'll purl 2. And then just like with binding off knitwise, I'll slip the first stitch over the second and work my way across the row, first making a second stitch, then slipping the first one over until I reach the end. And once again, once I've finished binding off, I have a top row of stitches that matches the rest of my fabric and looks neat when viewed from the edge, and I could trim this end and weave it through this loop and pull it tight to finish the piece.